What's up, guys? It's time for some LMP.
Hi, you guys. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, I'm so happy to be here. I don't have a lot of water, but my hair's a mess. What else is new? Hold on. I need to turn that light off because it was. Gosh, my hair is a mess. But I don't care. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. Hi, Lars. I have so much to share with you guys. I hope I can do it in an hour. I really do. I have a new painting I'm going to put up on my wall. I can't wait to show you guys, but I can't put it up on my own. Hi, Stephanie. It's so good to see you here. So I'm waiting for my mom to get home. Anyway, welcome to Untangled, episode 52. So happy to be here with you guys. This series I've been doing for apparently 52, almost a year, over a year. And it's all about making the uncomfortable comfortable, talking about the evolution in human consciousness, diving into being this miraculous consciousness in the human body. How do we get through this? How do we navigate this? What is it that we're doing? Remind me again. And just being the cheerleader for you and I as we slowly peel back the amnesia and walk our badasses through this evolution in consciousness. And man, oh man, do I have a lot to share this week. So first of all, thank you for being here and appreciate you and all of your support. It's an honor to be walking side by side with you through this evolution. Yeah. So I'm trying to think if there's any announcements that I want to make before I start. I don't really think there are. If you're not part of my Patreon community, I recommend joining. Links down below. We do 5 live events a month, and they're super powerful and super yeah, they're just there's a guided meditation, a channeled message, a group coaching call, a Q&A, and then this like an energy update where we kind of talk about the energies. Super fun. Links down below. Okay, let's do this. This past week has probably been, this is story time. We're going to go into story time. This past week, 8 days, has probably been one of the most transformational 8 days of my entire life. And I'll start with, I think it was last Sunday. Not the Sunday we just had, but the Sunday before that. Hi, Pua. I love you. Okay. So I guess, 8, 9 days ago, 10 days ago, I was sitting in my house and I'm recognizing, and I've been recognizing the past 3 weeks, 4 weeks, deep internal fears. Fears that feel like they're going to destroy me. And many of us are trying to show ourselves our deepest fears that are so unconscious and so subtle, but so profound because they have been controlling our lives and limiting us from being who we came here to be, our truest expression. Like you are allowed to be all of you. You're allowed to be loud and take up space and share your opinions and be loved unconditionally, and you're allowed to just be you, fully you. And the reason that you and I are not able to, most of us, you can pretend that you are and say, no, I'm fully myself. I'm 100% myself. And I would argue that. because there are deep, deep, unsettled or unconscious fears that most of us live with that we don't even realize we do. And they're holding us back from being literally being free, breaking free, being all of who we are. And when we do this, we break humanity free. This is how we break an entire human collective free, is that we break ourselves free from fear. It's that simple and that difficult. Fear is what is controlling this entire planet. Fear is what is controlling you. And when you, if you have ever really sat with your deepest fears, it's debilitating. It will feel like you are breaking. It will feel like you aren't going to survive. And you will do everything in your power. This is just what the human does. We do anything that we can to get out of it because we're so afraid of the fear. We're so afraid of what that fear is going to do to us, that we're not going to survive it, that we continue to pull ourselves out of the fear. And we play specific roles in this life. We numb ourselves out, right? We stay distracted. We do things we don't really want to do, right? We play in this world in ways that we really don't want to because at the end of the day, we're afraid to simply embrace our deepest fears. Whether that is for you, your deepest fear may be that you are going to be alone in this world, that you're going to be abandoned, that you are not worthy, that everyone's going to leave you, that you aren't going to be liked, um, that you're going to not be able to survive financially, that you always have to be in a state of survival. It's very different to be aware of these thoughts, okay? It's different to be aware of these beliefs that you hold, aware of the patterns, and to actually step into the fire of those fears and to let those fears destroy you. And what that means is that you literally grab fear's hand, you befriend that fear. And if and when you do this, you will feel like you're not going to survive. That's how you know you are befriending fear. It's not a thought you do. It's not an acceptance of, oh, I'm just going to accept fear. No, 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 no. If you are truly going into the belly of the beast of your fears, you will feel like you're not going to survive. There will be this feeling of like, oh my effing God, this is too much. This is too much. I can't do this. I can't go there. How many times have you done that in your life? This is too much. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can go through this. I don't know how. Right? That's you starting to open the door and jump into the fire of fear. And so many of us keep right on that precipice of just jumping all the way in because we're afraid we're going to be devoured by it, that it's going to destroy us. But what I've learned these past 8 days is that if you open the door to that fear and that fire and you jump in, fuck it, jump in and burn, you break free. You slowly start breaking free. And it's only when you befriend that fear, when you look it in the eye, when you jump into it, that you truly become free. So here's what happened 9 or 10 days ago. I was sitting in my office area and I was journaling, and I really felt like I needed to go somewhere. So I was like, I was just asking guidance, you know, where should I go next? Where should I go? And within like 10 minutes, it was like, go to the Utah cabin. So I've been to this cabin many times. It's right outside of Zion National Park. And the moment I wrote that down, there's like this sense of relief that came over me. Um, Something heavy was released. And then the following day, I had a breakdown that I've never had before that scared the shit out of me. And all of this is just to describe what's happened to me and where I am right now. I'm in my room packing for this trip. I think maybe it was a couple of days after I decided to go to I decided to go to Zion or to the cabin, and then 2 days later, I'm going to the cabin. So it happened quite quickly. But the day that I was packing for my trip, which was life-changing, all of a sudden, I don't know if any of you have felt this way, but all of a sudden, I started to feel like I was losing my mind. And the only way that I can describe this is I I felt like I was losing a sense of reality. That there was this deep, deep in the pit of my stomach fear that I didn't exist. That who I thought I was as Lori Ladd, the teacher, the one that speaks, the one that has information, the one that has purpose isn't here, doesn't exist. That I was going to literally like disintegrate, like I couldn't grasp me. And it was frightening. It was so frightening. But I knew that whatever was happening to me, that I was going to go in. I was gonna go all the way into whatever this was because I knew that this was the transformation, that this was breaking me free. This is why I'm sharing these stories with you today, because whatever is happening to you, how hard or difficult it may be, this is the gift of your transformation. If you don't grab it by the fucking horns and go all the way in this time, you will find yourself here a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now. Don't do it. This is the evolution in human consciousness. We are here to fucking evolve. Excuse my language, but we are. And every moment of every day, you are being given the opportunity to literally implode within yourself so that you can destroy anything that has kept you imprisoned and has kept you small and has kept you in fear. Don't be afraid of losing your mind, because it is what is breaking you free. Don't be afraid of heartache. Don't be afraid of losing someone. Don't be afraid of losing your job. Don't be afraid. And the way you stop being afraid is that you feel your fear so deeply that it breaks you free. That's the only way we get through this entire fucking evolution. I'm sorry if I'm using cuss languages, but this is fiery for me right now. So I'm in my room, I'm losing my mind literally. I feel like I'm no longer going to exist. I can't explain it. And I have to call my mom. I have to call my mom because I'm losing it and I'm scared shitless. So I call my mom and I'm like, I I don't know what's happening. I don't know who I am. I don't know I don't know how to even describe this. I don't think I don't know what's going on. I'm losing all sense of reality. I don't know who I am. I don't know if I'm going to ever be who I am. It was like this disassociative experience. But what was because I courageously was like, I'm going all the way in. I'm gonna be in this. I'm not going to numb out, ignore, deny, pretend, push aside. I was like, let's do this. If I'm gonna be annihilated, if I'm gonna lose my mind, if I'm gonna go into a psych ward, I'm going in because I know that this is transformation. I know this is what is moving me into the greatest, wholest version of me. So I'm on the phone and I'm crying. I'm on the phone and I'm pacing. I'm on the phone and my mom's like, should I come over? It's like 8 o'clock at night. Should I come over? Like, are you going to be okay? And I was like, I don't think you need to come over. I just need to talk through this. Something needs to be moved through with this. Um, and so I just started sharing all of the irrational things that were coming in, the deepest fears. I'm talking guttural, primal fears of not existing, of the the idea of who I am, the masks that I wear, the identification of who I am, the importance of who I think I am in this world and how I show up. The identification of me as the human was dissolving. It was dissolving. And an hour later, after my mom just being there for me, um, it shifted. It shifted. I came out of it. Everything that I do in my life, if you listen to me and you follow me, is I go all in, you guys. I go all in. Anything that arises, I go all the way into it. I feel it to its core. I always say to life, just show me more, burn me more, destroy me more. I'm not ashamed. I'm not afraid. I don't have guilt. I don't shy away from talking about it. I don't feel less than as a teacher. Because if we cannot be humble to this human evolution, then you're going to be denying yourself the greatest gift that you gifted yourself by incarnating at this time. And it is not easy. So I get through this massive, I'm going to lose my shit and have to go into a psych ward moment. And only those of you that have literally lost your mind know what I'm talking about. And hopefully you don't have to go through that. But it was one of the scariest moments of my life, for sure. So because I go all in, it was only about an hour. I was like, okay, good. Thank God I'm back. So I pack my bag and I leave for Utah Tuesday morning. And this cabin that I go to, I've gone to for for a couple years. Edited my book there. This cabin is very quiet. These cabins are very quiet. There's buffalo, there's chickens, there's horses, there's dogs, there's mini horses, right? And it's very, very peaceful and very quiet. So when I got there, I checked into my cabin. I love this cabin and woke up the next morning and started to just find myself in deep stillness outside on this patio. And I knew that these moments that was in for the next however many days were so precious, this stillness, and that if I didn't take the opportunity to be in this stillness, as uncomfortable or as comfortable as it would be, I would be missing the greatest gifts. Again, I'm sharing this with you because many, many times what we are in, we don't want to be in. And we make it wrong or bad. And we actually try to get out of it. And if there is anything that I can tell you right now, it's that what you are in, as difficult, challenging, painful, crunchy, whatever it is your greatest gift and opportunity. Seize it. Fucking seize it. Grab it. Devour it. See it as the gift. See it as the transformation. Nobody gets out of here, right? Nobody moves through this human experience without the opportunity to transform, to evolve, to shift, to alchemize, to become. It's an opportunity that you are given in every single moment of your life. It's just that 99.9% of us don't have the courage and the faith to really step into what this life is gifting us with. The ability to come back to wholeness, the ability to be absolutely free, the ability to show up in all of who you are no matter what. Think about this. Feel into this for a moment. What does it feel like to just be authentically 100% just you in every aspect of your life, which means that you're not hiding, you're not running from, you're not numbing from, you're not pretending, you're not denying, you're not pushing off, but you're literally so open and so receptive to life that life is gifting you in every single moment. This is the evolution in our consciousness. This is what the human collective is doing externally, and this is what we're doing internally. Anyway, back to my Zion mountain ranch. I was sitting out on the porch and I was just laying there, and I would lay, and then I would sit on this chair, and I was listening to a book on tape, and then I would turn the book on tape off, and it just was in stillness. I was just in presence. I was just in life. And I kept saying to myself, like, why am I listening to this book on tape? It was a really interesting book on tape about this woman that was going through. She was in her 30s, and she was going through these different life challenges around relationships and love, and her own personal, um, uh, you know, um, her own personal challenges and blah blah blah. And I don't know why I was listening to it, but I just knew that I needed to keep listening to it. So random. And she said something in her book about talking to her inner child. And I knew in that moment that I needed to turn the book off, and I needed to go back to what I now call an inception point in our lives. We all have these inception points, okay? All of you, I guarantee it, are being shown right now inception points in your life. You're being shown them by being in uncomfortable places that you don't want to be in. So you're noticing, old thought forms, old beliefs continuing to control you. You're noticing behaviors that you just numb out and do. You're noticing ways in which you are running from things you need to look at or deal with, but you don't care, right? These are all showing you inception points in your life. An inception point is the moment that your entire life changed instantaneously based on an external experience. Many of us call this trauma. And what this inception point did is it created thought forms that entered into your reality that were not there 1 second before that experience. And these thought forms were inception points where you were now going to see the world through a completely different lens. Unbeknownst to you, quite unconsciously, but always chosen from a higher realm. And these inception points created these thought forms or beliefs that you held in that second, in that moment, you held them as absolute truths. And you began to use the lens of these thought forms to create your reality. These are inception points. And if you are finding yourself literally feeling like your world is falling apart, that you are not sure you're going to make it through whatever you're going through, I guarantee you are being shown inception points. So something is happening in a present moment. And whatever is happening in the present moment, whatever is being triggered, the fear, the abandonment, the loneliness, um, the um, the unworthiness, the insecurity, um, whether it's, you need to be a certain way in order to be loved, you need to sound a certain way in order to be liked, you need to play a role in order to be loved. Everybody always leaves you. You're never going to be worthy of having what you want. You're always going to need to be in control, right? In this world, you can't feel safe unless you're in control. I don't know. The list goes on and on and on. You're being shown in this moment right here, right now, you are being shown an inception point in your past, most likely between the ages of 2 and 8, somewhere around there, right? 2 to 6 for many of us, but a very young age, there was an inception point, something that happened, and then something else that happened that created the beliefs that you hold right now that are literally running your life. And because you have believed it for so long, because nobody told you in that moment of inception that it wasn't true. Nobody told you in that moment that it was just an experience and that you're safe. You're now having to tell yourself that it was just an experience. You're now having to tell yourself that it's not who you are. You're now having to tell yourself that you're safe to be here. You're now having to tell yourself that anybody can leave and you're still going to be okay. You're now having to tell yourself that you are worthy no matter what. You're now having to tell yourself that you deserve whatever it is you want. You don't have to hope or cross your fingers. You're now telling yourself that you're allowed to speak your truth and be held and be heard and be loved. And so, what I did in this moment outside in the Utah ranch is I went to that inception point of 6 years old. And my inception point, many of you have heard this, the very first inception point where I held abandonment, where I believed that anybody that loved me was going to leave me, that I no longer felt safe in the world, that I did something wrong because I did something wrong because this person is leaving. I went back to the moment, 6 years old, standing outside my house in Texas, all by myself, watching my mom and my younger brother pull away from the house because my mom was going back to California and leaving. And I watched myself. I've done this before, but this was different. I watched myself as the awareness. I was aware of little Lori. I was aware of every single thing she felt in that moment. I was aware of the inception point of these thoughts. I was aware that she didn't understand and nobody told her that it was okay and that it wasn't her fault and that she was going to be okay and that she was worthy and that people can leave and you can still feel safe in this world, right? So I started to, as awareness, as the adult Lori, I comforted her and I reminded her of what I needed to remind myself right now, right? It is extremely, extremely important that we do this because if we don't go to the inception points and if we don't become whole again from that moment of inception, we will be running from our biggest fears our entire life. It is right here, right now, that you are being I am being asked to reprogram those inception points, reprogram them, which is me telling myself what is the absolute truth. And the only way that you don't go searching for these inception points. They show up in the now with whatever's happening right here, right now for you. That's how you find the inception point. Is that you realize, wow, I am changing who I am in order for these people to like me. And I've been doing this my whole life. Bingo, pause. Where's the inception point? Where was the first time you remember doing that? And then you go back to that moment as the version of you that you are right now. And you remind yourself in that moment back then of what you need to remind yourself right now. If you're trying to fix what you're in without going back to the inception point, you'll just continue to repeat it. You'll just continue repeating the programs and patterns. And this is the thing about whatever you're going through. Like, let's say you're in a job you hate, okay? Or you're going through a breakup, or you are your relationship with your family or your friends is changing because you are no longer resonating, or I don't know, whatever, a lot of different things. You're going to think that it's about that. Okay. You're going to think that it's about, oh, I need to just have the courage and the worthiness to change jobs, right? Or, oh, I just need to surrender into it and just let it be and I'll find another job. Or, oh, I need to just manifest and create a vision board and blah, blah, blah. Or I just need to, learn how to get through this breakup and feel confident and secure in myself, and right? It's very surface level. Now, a lot of you would say that's not surface level, Lori, that's healing. And I would say, that's surface level healing. Surface level healing, you've probably done it many times. And I guarantee you continue to find yourself in the core, deep programs that you continue to do, and you don't understand why you're still in these core programs. But I've already gone through so many breakups and done such a great job. I've already, created so many amazing jobs. I don't understand why I'm still here. I hold so many firm boundaries with people. I don't understand why I'm continuing to experience this, because you're not going to the inception point and feeling the deepest fear in your body. It's about fear. It is all about fear. So we can look at the surface level of everything and heal this and heal that, and vision board this and manifest that, positive think this and positive think that, which is all these are beautiful tools. But if you don't go to the core of your fear, where you literally feel like you're going to die, where you have no control, you don't know how you're going to make it through it. When you go to that place, you will never, ever, ever find yourself in those patterns again. You will never, ever, ever find yourself in those programs again. You break free. So for 3 or 4 days, thank you, Deanna, for the super chat. For 3 or 4 days, I sat in this stillness. I sat with these fears, the fears of always being afraid that people are going to leave me, the fear of literally being alone, feeling alone in the world. The fear that I need to fix something, I need to be in control, I need to change something. The fear of not being able to trust life. And I can't explain these fears. The words don't really match the experience of the fears. But when you feel it, strap on your seatbelt because it's potent, it's powerful. And it was like a roller coaster. So I would go deep into these fears, and then I would come out, and it was like life was amazing, and I was just looking out and just feeling so safe and so in life and so in awe of life, right? And then all of a sudden I would drop back down into that fear. Thank you for the super chat, Olivia. I would drop back down into that fear, and it would just consume me and take over. And then I would come back out, right? And I would just be in, I would feel so safe and so held and so excited about life. And then I would drop back in, and it was just this wave for like 4 or 5 days when I was there in the cabin. And what I realized what I realized that was happening was this, and this is happening for you, whether you're aware of this or not, is there is this profound, what I like to call alchemical, right? Where it's energy shifting states, matter shifting states. Thank you, Olivia, again. Um, that is the alchemical process that is occurring right now in your physical reality. It's the alchemical process that is happening right now in the external physical reality. And what is so profound to me in this process, it's very similar. Like so many people and teachers talk about like, oh, you're going from a butterfly to a caterpillar, right? That is an alchemical process. That is a states that are shifting form right before your eyes, miraculously, without knowing how. Caterpillar doesn't know how to do it. It just intuitively knows that it's got to die in order to become. The caterpillar knows that it has to dissolve what it thinks it is blindly in order to intuitively become what it has always known it's here to be, but has no idea what that is. And the caterpillar literally looks as if it's about to die. It cocoons inward. It literally stops its life. It pauses. And it then becomes miraculously something completely different. This process is no fucking joke, and it's what you and I are going through right now. It is it is like nothing you have ever experienced before. And there, I'm telling you this because this is what is occurring as an evolutionary experience as a collective consciousness. Very few have done this and written about it. Very few have turned around and said, "This is what the human collective is going through right now, and this is how you do it." Very few. Thousands of people have written books on how to change your mind, reprogram yourself, motivate yourself, heal your traumas, look at your attachment styles, um, all of your human design. That's all beautiful. This is next fucking level what I'm talking about, this alchemical process of evolution that most humans have not gone through yet because this is the first time the human consciousness has experienced it. You and I don't know what the hell we're doing, and we don't know how to get through it. Although this feels somewhat similar to things in the past, this also feels brand new, very new. What is this? Because it is. Because this is a stage of the human collective, this is a stage of evolution in the human consciousness that has never been experienced before. We don't have books to open up and read about what this actual current now process is all about. That's evolution. Never been done before, evolving, moving into new states, new ways of being, new alchemization processes. And yes, there's tons of books that can help you along the way, but they're not going to be able to pinpoint and kind of tell you what's happening. It's not, because 99.999% of humanity hasn't gone through it yet. They haven't. How do I know this? Because I know in the deepest core of my being that we are in an evolution. That 99.99999% of the human collective is in the same place. And that this process of alchemization and transformation, although we're all at different levels, is about two things: coming back into absolute wholeness, which means that there are no fragmented aspects of you that are leaking out into the external world looking for validation, safety, love, um, um, what else? Worthiness, right? Everything is brought back into you, all aspects, all fragmented parts of you that broke during these inception points are coming back to you, and you are standing in, embodying and being completely whole, which means that you are just being you. And the second thing is that you are no longer controlled by fear. And every single one of us, I don't care who you are, what you're aware of, how many conspiracy theory holes you've gone down, how much healing you have done, we are all controlled by fear. And it can be very subtle or very obnoxiously loud, but all of us are. And this evolution is all about no longer being controlled by fear. We're starting to see it happen in the external world. And you're absolutely going to see it happen in your internal world. And the way that you know, thank you, Merlinda, for the super chat. The way that you know that you are being shown your deepest fears is that you will feel out of control. You will be shown the same patterns over and over again. You will be shown the same beliefs over and over again that you believe to be true. People and situations will be pulled from you over and over again. You will find yourself in turmoil or distress, anxiety, worry. You will find yourself continuing to want to control certain things. Your world may just be falling apart over and over and over again. There's many, many ways that you are being shown your deepest fears. And it's time that we stop looking at this through the lens of, how do I get out of this? This isn't good. This isn't okay. That's fear, wanting to keep you in a state of imprisonment. Instead, you say, get the fuck out of my way. Show me. Show me. I'm going in. I'm going to go in. What is this showing me about how I am still being imprisoned by my own mind? Where am I still feeling afraid? What am I still hiding from or running from? What am I ignoring and denying? What am I so afraid to look at, acknowledge, be in? And all of us are going to do this in our own ways, in tiny steps or big jumps. But I can promise you one thing: you and I are going to continue to find ourselves in really beautiful, powerful. Thank you, Sarah and Deborah, for the super chats. We are going to continue to find ourselves in these waves where you will feel so grateful for life, just in awe of life, like recognizing the beauty of trees and the beauty of a bee and the beauty of human connection. Thank you, Sanctuary Within Healing, for your super chat. I really appreciate it, you guys. You will start to really recognize the gift of this life, and you are going to simultaneously move into the depths of this void, right? You'll continue to be shown the deep, deep fears. This is the alchemization process. This is what's happening, right? You're recognizing the polarity, which is, oh my God, life. This is our one life. This is it. This is the life that we have right here, right now. The only life you have is this one. Regardless of whether you believe in past lives and other lives and incarnating multiple times, I don't care. This is your one life, right? And then you go deep into the despairs of this transformation, and you're like, I don't give a shit. I want out. I can't do this. This is so hard, or whatever that is, right? That's why you keep going. The other thing that happened while I was in Utah, as I was going through all of this deep awareness of fear, and just the deep recognition of like the humbled wow of this evolution, mind-blowing awareness of this evolution we're in, is I started to feel a deep, deep, of course I did, because I was going into the depths of my fears, but I started to feel like I didn't want to die. So I've never been afraid of death. And I've always been like, when I die, I die. I don't care who, whatever. I know that I exist beyond this, and it just like, whatever it is just keeps going and experiences itself in other ways and blah blah blah. I've never been afraid of death. Never really cared. When I was in the Utah cabin, I was brought to my knees by how much did not want to ever leave this life. And I really felt for the first time in my life what it would feel like if I knew I was about to die. And it literally brought tears to my eyes, because I was like, holy shit, I don't want to leave this life. I don't want to leave this life. And when you have this profound experience, this profound awareness, most people have it when they're about to die. Most people have it as they get older and they realize that life is gone, that they're on the last couple of years of your life. And then it's like, oh, they have all this wisdom, right? Oh my God, if only I knew in my 20s or 30s what I know now in my 80s. Or, they're about to die and pass over, and they realize how important it is to just be kind or to love, or they just start realizing the beauty of life. It's like, why the fuck am I going to wait until I'm on my deathbed, while I'm about to die, and have this absolute embodied awareness? I want to have it now. I want to have the awareness every freaking day of how miraculous and special this life is. I don't wanna wait until I'm too old to realize it, right? Like, I'm so old now that, like, "Oh, now I have the wisdom." Fuck that. Absolutely not. And it's not that I wanna be afraid of dying. It's that I want to love this life so much that I don't wanna leave it. Like, I love this life so much. I love the ability to get in my car and go to Starbucks. I love the ability to get into an airplane and fly. I love the ability to make food. I love the ability to watch Netflix. I love the ability to love people or to spend time with animals, whatever it is. That is what I want to love. That is what I want to appreciate. That is what I want to squeeze the juice out of. And in the meantime, I'm also going to die to all of my fears. I'm going to be in whatever it is that's arising that wants to heal me or alchemize me because I never would have had that awareness, that deep, deep, heart opening awareness that will never be, I will never be the same. That shift that happened, that quick shift that happened in the cabin around not wanting to die. And the other things that happened, right? I would have never had it had I not chosen to courageously go into the fears that were calling my name and being curious. That's the transformation, you guys. There's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts in life. There's no workarounds. Thank you, Wilza, for the super chat. You know, I practice I haven't in almost a month, but I've been practicing just the subtle awareness, right? That the present moment, the now, that I am none of this, that I am not my thoughts and my emotions, right? That I am awareness. But this past month, I was being called to not go there. I was being called to go deep, deep into the fear. Because on one level, okay, it's really important to always have that awareness of awareness, to be the observer, to know that you are not your thoughts and your emotions, to know that you are not the programs and the behavior, to know that you are not who you think you are, the labels and the all of that. But it is just as important to dive so deeply into these beliefs, these fears, these chains that are imprisoning you so that you can break yourself free, even though you've never been any of it. I mean, that is truly how you break free in your mind, which is what humanity is doing. But first we have to realize what handcuffs are on our wrists. And if we're simply just going straight to awareness without also looking at your wrists, you're still going to be handcuffed. We still have to be in this human experience. We still have to recognize the traumas. We still have to feel those inception points. We still have to recognize those inception points. We still have to look at the handcuffs that are on our wrists. Even though you are not the handcuffs on your wrist, if you don't look at them and start dissecting them and peeling it apart and taking the key and opening them, by recognizing that you're handcuffed, courageously, humbly recognizing that you are handcuffed to something, then you truly won't ever break free. You'll believe you are because you're practicing these practices of meditation, positive thinking, high vibe, whatever that is. But humanity as a collective is imprisoned in their own minds through fear. And no amount of positive thinking, high vibing, um, and sitting in meditation will unshackle the handcuffs that is controlling you unless you choose to courageously dive into the fears. And that's what you're being gifted every day. That's what I'm being gifted every day. And that's what the human collective is being gifted every day. That's what we went through the last 3 years. Fear. It was all about fear. All of it. And the absolute cognitive dissonance that happens, that is created through fear, which is there is no way I am going to accept that no matter what. There is no way that that can absolutely be true. It's too dark, it's too evil, it's too painful. I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to turn my head, turn my back. And what was being asked of us and is continuing to be asked of us on a collective level is open your eyes and open your heart and look at the fear. Look at what you are afraid to see. Look at what you're afraid to acknowledge. Look at what you're afraid to feel. And as soon as you start doing that over and over and over again, you realize, holy shit, I'm breaking free. And breaking free means that you can feel anything, you can see anything, you can watch any thought, and it no longer controls you. And the way you know that it controls you is that you feel as if you have to do something with it. That you have to either run from it, ignore it, deny it, fix it. And when you truly break free from fear, you just start choosing. Choosing is very different than fixing and changing. Choosing means that I can stand in this quantum field where everything exists: sadness, anger, anxiety, love, peace, joy. It all exists. Limiting thoughts that tell me I'm unworthy, thoughts that tell me I'm worthy, limiting thoughts that tell me I'm insecure, thoughts that tell me I'm secure. That's all in the quantum field. That's all available right now. What happened in that inception point? Are you aware of it? Because I guarantee you what you're holding as your truth right now stemmed from that inception point. And now all you need to do is go into that fear, recognize what's been controlling you. And now you see it all, you feel it all, and then you start choosing. It's time that we start to choose, not change, but choose. And the only way that you choose from a state of freedom is that you realize what's been controlling you. And the only way you realize what's been controlling you is that you're courageous enough to look at the fears, feel the fears. And one last thing before we go is this isn't about hope, right? Thanks, Jessica, for your super chat. And yeah, email me. Email me. Stop using the word hope. I hope we get through this. I hope I get through this. I hope I can do this. I hope. No, 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 no. Fear is going to eat that up like freaking the best piece of pizza you've ever had. No hope. Absolute knowingness. Absolute knowingness. Where are you going? What do you want? Who are you? What are you choosing? Where do you see yourself in a year? What are you creating? You do not use the word hope anymore. Throw that out the door. Throw it out. I'm telling you, it is the most disempowered word you could possibly use. When you use the word hope, you're basically literally denying the badass that you are. Badass creator, the courageous, incredible creator that you are. Thank you, Milena, for the super chat. Be aware of the word hope, because fear will feed off of hope. Fear feeds off hope. When you start saying, it's absolute, I know, it is, and you hold excitement for the transformation and alchemization process that you're in, fear can't live in that. You grab fear, you befriend it, and you walk straight into the light with the fear. That's what you do. Hope is giving your power over to the fear. Who you are, the whole, aligned, empowered badass that you are, looks at fear and says, damn, you're motherfucking powerful. Okay, I see you. Come this way. We're going to walk straight into the light together. You don't get rid of fear. You befriend it. You walk side by side along it. That's what you do with fear. All right, you guys, I love you. Hopefully this was helpful. Please pass it on to somebody that may need to listen to it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Like this video if you haven't. Please, it helps the algorithms, and the algorithms are all messed up on YouTube right now. So please, 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 please just hit the little positive thumbs up little thing in jigger. And I will see you next Tuesday for Aligned episode 53. Trust your process. Trust the alchemization that's happening, shifting states of matter, and don't run from fear. Grab it by the hand. You're not alone. I love you.